Hey friends, Megan Elizabeth from ByMeganElizabeth.com, founder and creator of She Makes Club, here with another Bible art journaling video for telling a story using the Illustrating Bible. This is my new spiral bound Bible that I am really loving. And because I was celebrating my good friend Heidi's birthday, it got me thinking about different friendships and things. And I've been reading Job and really studying a bunch of things when it comes to friends. And with some of the verses that I decided to go ahead and highlight and journal about are in Proverbs, specifically Proverbs 27. And we're going to even talk a little bit about Proverbs 26. But I'm going to start by using the Close to My Heart masking tape. I love this because it's a very low stick. So even on delicate Bible journal pages, this is a really, really great masking tape. Sometimes I do get a little frustrated. It will seem to stick to itself if the roll gets too warm, and sometimes it will rip on itself a little bit, but it has never caused any damage to any paper that I've used ever. It's not even quite as sticky as a sticky note to me, but it actually seals very well to be able to mask off for any type of inking or stenciling or things like that. So what I'm going to do is start with this cross-hatching stencil that I have. This is one of the card front stencils from Close to My Heart. I will leave a link to all of this stuff in the description, but what I'm doing is taking Rustic Wilderness and I'm moving that stencil around and using that Rustic Wilderness in a couple different angles and then kind of blending away that top harsh line, just giving it a little brush over, kind of blending in some of that kind of cross hatching. And like I said, I don't really want much, if any, white to show. So I just moved that stencil around. You can even grab it a few times, turn it, twist it, and go in with a variation of dark and light. It gives you a real dynamic look with only one ink color. And it's one of my favorite things about doing the distress oxide. So I have liked using this kind of fun geometric pattern. It doesn't really look like grass. You could make a grass stencil and do very much the similar kind of thing, or there's a lot of yard scenery, grass scenery stencils that are out there as well, and really you can have some fun with. Now I am going to take this just scrap piece of paper. Even though I don't want harsh lines, I'm going to create a few harsh lines to really give myself space for creating a really fun sunset theme. The Distress Oxide inks really stay wet for a long time. They give you a lot of blendability, and it's a very opaque ink. So it's a lot of fun to Bible art with. I love it more than doing cards or anything else with it. Just a lot of fun. So now I'm taking some mustard seed yellow, and this is the Dome blender brushes from Close to My Heart. Also, again, I'll leave links. Those are what I'm using for these. I wanted to create something where it looked really heavily like a sunset. So I kind of did a heavy yellow circle with some yellow around it. Now I'm taking some coral and I'm blending that in and moving it around. And I don't want any really, really harsh lines, but this just gives you so much work ability. So I'm just kind of bringing now some of that green up into the yellow and vice versa. I'm just going to move it around and layer and layer and layer, and you're going to see this come together. I also earlier in the week used the Sawyer scrapbooking kit for that scrapbook page layout. This is the stamp set that goes with that. I'm pretty sure it is still available in this shop, so if that's something that you're interested in, I think it's a really fun stamp set to celebrate friendship, and I just love the girls holding hands. It's like my heart, it's my friendships, and I just love it. I think it's really, really cute. So you can see now I'm taking that coral, abandoned coral, and I'm going around the edges and giving myself, a lot of layers with the yellow and then the coral, mustard seed, and then the abandoned coral. And now taking that mustard seed again and really creating more of that circled effect there, really harshly. And then I'm going to go up, I'm going to use colors like tattered rose and picked raspberry and kitsch flamingo, even a little bit of the villainous poison or villainous potion, to create that like cotton candy purple sky. So the way I'm doing that, taking picked raspberry and I'm doing very light sweeps across the sky, like almost like clouds are disturbing, and even bringing it down into that abandoned coral and a little bit into that mustard seed color, and not being afraid to kind of blend it even a little bit with the colors that are already there. Again, it stays really wet, it stays blendable. I want it to look very airy and flowy and just fun and soft and all those colors. And what's really great with Distress Oxide is even going in with a lighter color on top, it gives you even more of that dimension and that illusion of layers and clouds coming in, which I'm all about. I just really love how this comes together, and it never has to be like perfect lines or perfect color balance. It's just about continuing to layer and blend until you really like the result. And if it's, starting to blend too much or get muddy, give it a second, heat set it, let it dry a little bit, and go back on top. It does reactivate with water, or you'll get a reaction with water. And it's a really great thing about this is that even when you mess up, like I did on here, we're going to use water to sort of get rid of some of the actual extra blemishes or whoopsies that may even happen on your Bible journal. So that's like really, really great as well, that you can correct mistakes in your Bible journaling with Distress Oxide ink. So I'll show you that in a minute. When we take off the masking tape, you'll see exactly what happened. But for now, I'm going to grab my archival black and the two friends holding hands, and they're going to kind of create my scene in the side of the page here. So I'm just kind of having them walk off into the sunset. Really, really needing to make sure I press down really hard and solid because of how many layers of paper in there. You just want to make sure you have a clean, firm press. You don't want to multi-stamp it or jump that stamp at all. You just want to give good, solid pressure all over. And I am using a little bit of, stamp cleaner to clean the stamp off with the archival black. And that's what you see happening there. Then I want to grab the heart that's included in this kit. It's so cute. It's perfect to go kind of in the middle, continuing with the scene. And then there's also extra sprigs of grass and kind of like the wildflowers coming up. So I also want to stamp those. And I'll stamp one at full strength and then one at half strength, or even three times less strength, and then even going through what we already stamped there. So it gives some variation of the highs and lows, the darker and the lighter, and then also the height difference that I want to allow for or create for, and then even adding some sprigs in the lower corners of the pages as well. So doing that with all of the wildflower sprigs that are in this kit, and just using archival black. I'm not trying to color anything in further with anything other than the Distress Oxide blending work we already did. So it keeps it a little bit more simple from that standpoint. So once I'm finished with all of my stamping, and those hearts, like I said, I was going to add those. They're really, really sweet. You can add a couple to the page if you want in different locations. But that's totally up to you. And then, like I said, I want it to heat set it really well so that I don't get too much bleed when I go to try to do anything, additional, because I want to highlight some other portions. And I also don't want it to bleed onto the other side of the page. I do prep all of my Bible journal pages, even this one. I decided to prep with the clear gesso. And I do have a video on the YouTube channel showing how I prepare my Bible journal pages, and all of the Bible journals that I've used so far, I like the results best with that clear gesso. I just prep a bunch of pages at a time, and then I dry it with the heat tool as much as I can, and then let it sit overnight. So now I'm going to remove my masking. Gives me those clean, crispy lines, which I love. And there you see it. There's that little purple streak over the text because I went past my masking line accidentally. So what I'm doing is grabbing a water-filled water brush pen that is completely clean. I'm making sure it's clean on that paper towel, and I'm squirting a little bit of water on there, and then using the brush to sort of blend it out and then dab it dry. One of my favorite ways in the entire world, especially if you're using gesso, to clean up any oopsie mistakes with your stencils or otherwise, especially with Distress Oxide inks. It cleans up. It's gone. You can't even see it again. So now what I'm going to do is I want to do a little bit more of my own thoughts and some highlighting. So I'm taking the Mr. Pen gel highlighters. Love these things. They are so smooth. They're blendable as well. If you do them while they're still like wet, but they're also not bleed through, they're really great. And the verses that I wanted to highlight in the color pink are found in Proverbs 27, and I did verse 1 in pink that says, "Do not boast about tomorrow, for you don't know what a day might bring." And then in purple, I did verse 2 of Proverbs 27, which says, "Let another praise you and not your own mouth, a stranger and not your own lips. And that's from the CSB version. That's what the spiral bound Bible is. And then that one right now that I'm kind of using my finger to blend out, that was the very first verse I highlighted in pink that has to do with friendship. And it says, Proverbs 27, verse 9, oil and incense bring joy to my heart, and sweetness of a friend is better than self-counsel. And how true is that? You know, we can get ourselves worked up into such a tizzy sometimes, but the counsel of a loving friend can bring more joy and so much more sweetness to your heart. And then finally, I decided I wanted to highlight this verse as well, even though it wasn't about friendship. I used orange for it, and that is actually found in Proverbs 26, and it's verses 20, 21, and 22. Without wood, fire goes out. Without a gossip, conflict dies down. As charcoal for embers and wood for fire, so is a quarrelsome person for kindling strife. A gossip's words are like choice food that goes down to one's innermost being. I think it's powerful words to remember, to focus on, to think about how our words are so powerful. So I highlighted them all in different colors because they do have to do with different aspects and different things within these awesome proverbs. So I just wanted to highlight them. But then I'm going to take my journaling pen and I just want to write a little side note about friendships and how they are one of my greatest earthly gifts aside from my husband and my children. My friendships, I am so incredibly thankful for and blessed with, that they are better than oil. They bring more joy and sweetness, and I'm not in this life alone. So I just wanted to celebrate that today and share it with you. I really want to thank you so much for spending a little bit of your Thursday afternoon creating with me. Here's a closer look, and you can see the shininess of that gesso there and how the blending of the highlighters came out with the final journaling. I really hope that you enjoyed following along today. Would love to invite you into She Makes Club, where we love to tell our story and create a life that we can make and love together through Cricut and other fun paper crafts. And I hope you'll give this a like, subscribe, and share. Enjoy the moments. Bye-bye.